Swayambhuva Manu advises Maharaj. Can we remember exactly where we stopped yesterday? I think we stopped at 20. Let's start with 20. So yesterday we were discussing very philosophical aspects of this session. What we should do, how we should act, what should we act for. So a lot of philosophical portions were given, and the purpose are saturated with analogies, powerful analogies, to explain how the living entity activities are actually attracting different kinds of reactions, and these reactions have compounded into the various kinds of situations, good and bad, different type of bodies, and they are all just, everybody just, reaping what he has sown, and the continuous action and reaction is what has created this material world. Yes, material world is created by the desires of the living, and the Lord is trying to fulfill desire. That's all that is there, and it's monitoring, taking notes, giving more reactions as needed, and this is what is going on. So let us read this, because this was the last text I thought we read, verse 20. Because of the various analogies there, it's good that we still start from it and rest ourselves. It's fighting with you. It's all this. Nabai swa pakso sia vipaksa Evava parasyam richu visata samam praja tam dharma manam audavanti anisa yata rajamsi anilambu tasanga. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his feature of eternal time, is present in the material world and is neutral towards everyone. No one is his ally and no one is his enemy. Within the jurisdiction of the time element, everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. As when the wind blows, small particles of dust fly in the air. So according to one's particular karma, one suffers or enjoys material life. Let's listen to this purport very attentively, because it is loaded. It's so loaded, that's why we are repeating it today again. There are so many points we need to take home. Time is the active principle in this material world. And by time activities are done, by time the reactions come. And by time the child is born, by time the child dies. and by time is born again, all depending on the activities. And it is time that is the active principle bringing about the reaction of every activity. So, but then Krishna himself is neutral. Time is also neutral, but it awards various rewards to our activities. And that is why we are in various situations. Somebody born in India, somebody in Africa, somebody black, somebody white, somebody tall, somebody short. So many situations. So let us see. Those who are not in class yesterday, they missed a lot. And particularly His Grace Madhuban Prabhu, he sent some message as to why he was not going to be in class. Chitra Prabhu was also having some serious situation, funeral situation of his dad, and he was not there. But we read a lot of very philosophical points, and for their sake, we are reading this particular text again, so that we can carry them along. Although the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the original cause of all causes, he is not responsible for anyone's material suffering or enjoyment. Get the points very attentively. There is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. The less intelligent accuse the Supreme Lord of being partial and claim that this is why one enjoys in this material world and another suffers. But this verse specifically says that there is no such partiality on the part of the Supreme Lord. Living entities, however, are never independent. They think they are independent, but every action they do, they get a corresponding reaction. And we have said in the Bhagavad Gita before, the Lord reciprocates our devotion, our service attitude, our activities. And that's why there are varieties in life and inequalities. Living entities, however, are never independent. As soon as they declare their independence of the Supreme Controller, they are immediately put into this material world to try their luck freely as far as possible. So our existence here is experimental, to become experimental controllers. And the more we try to be controllers here, the more we get ourselves entangled. So the sooner we know that we are not the controllers, but we are the controlled, and we surrender and refine our desires in alignment, proper alignment with the Supreme Controller, the better for us. And that is the purpose of devotional service as a whole, to help us refine our desires, because desires cannot be given up. Desires are part and parcel of the living entity. As soon as you say living entity, the desires must be there. But presently, our desires are diverted, they are perverted, they are directed towards sense gratification. They have been enacted on the platform of false ego. So spiritual life means to remove that false ego, give the center to whom it belongs, and just work as part and parcel. Don't try to be apart, but be part and parcel of the Supreme. The hand should not try to enjoy separately from the body. It should be part and parcel of the body. That is spiritual life. That's what we are trying to do. How to realign our consciousness, realign our activities, realign our desires. When the material world is created for such misguided living entities, they create their own karma, fruitive activities, and take advantage of the time element, and thereby they create their own fortune or misfortune. So man is actually ultimately responsible for his own situations. Nobody should be held responsible. Any situation we find ourselves, we are actually responsible for it. That's why even today in our practice of Krishna consciousness, sometimes some other devotees will be used as instruments to test us or to fulfill our particular stuff we desire. But those devotees are actually instruments in the hand of the Supreme Lord. So rather than attacking this devotee at the cause of my misfortune, that devotee at the cause of my misfortune, we should try to see that they are instruments in the hand of God, and we should just learn the lesson we are supposed to learn and work on ourselves. We should look inside to ourselves, what we are not doing right, what we need to do right, so that we just be unconditional. Our disposition should be unconditional devotional service. Then we go on, then we start making advancements. As far as these three things are concerned, the Lord is equal to everyone. It is according to one's karma that one suffers and enjoys. The living entity's higher or lower position, his suffering and enjoyment are due to his own karma. The exact words used in this connection is anisa, which means dependent on their own karma. Anisa. The example is given that the government gives everyone the facilities for governmental action and management. But by one's own choice, one creates a situation which obliges him to exist under different types of circumstances. The example given in this verse is that when the wind blows, particles of dust float in the air. Gradually, lightning occurs, and then torrents of rain follows. And thus, the rainy season creates a situation of varieties in the forest. God is very kind. He gives everyone an equal chance. But by the resultant actions of one's own karma, one suffers or enjoys this material world. So Swayambhuva Manu is preaching in this direction to Dhruva Maharaj, because at this point, Dhruva Maharaj is acting, under the force ego, seeing himself as the supreme controller who has the right to annihilate the Yaksha race. And therefore, Swayambhuva Manu is trying to tell him that it is not your duty to annihilate the Yaksha race. It is not your duty. You are not the supreme controller. The supreme controller is Krishna. You are killing the Yakshas. Are you ready to kill Durga also? Material nature? If you succeed in killing material nature, will you be ready to kill God also? For the sake of your brother, can you do it? This is unnecessary. Remove yourself from the center. The center belongs to Krishna. Durva, I'm telling you this because you are very dear to me. You're my grandson. So stop this killing. Don't take laws into your hands. Allow the supreme government to work through its mechanism, universally set mechanism. See, the mechanic is God himself. Know this. So this is what Bhakti Manu is saying. This is what Bhakti Manu is still saying. So we want to move on, but if there are some questions, because this is a basic philosophy of karma, everybody receiving what he has generated, receiving the reaction of what he has generated, and therefore the chance is still there for us to redirect our activities in such a way that we don't attract any undesirable reactions. So this is the level. There are some questions or commentaries on these points. Yesterday we dealt with it, but we are bringing it forth again because of those who are not there. This is our basic philosophy. It is not a new philosophy. But Swayambhuva Manu is reminding Dhruva Maharaj once again. Okay. So the next verse, please. Verse 21.
Prabhuji, can I read?
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Ayusho pacham yam jantos tathaiva vopachayam vibhu ubhyabhyam rahita swatho swastho dukhyasya vidadhasya so. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu is all powerful, and he awards the result of one's fruitive activities. Thus, although one living entity's duration of life is very small, whereas that of another is very great, he is always in his transcendental position, and there is no question of lessening or increasing his duration of life. Purport: Both the mosquito and the Lord Brahma are living entities in the material world. Both are minute spark and are part of the Supreme Lord. The very short duration of the life of the mosquito and the very long life of Lord Brahma are both awarded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the result of their karma. But in the Brahma Samhita, we find it said, Karmani nirdhati. The Lord diminishes or vanquishes the reaction of devotees. The same fact is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Yajanar rthat karmano nyatra. One should perform karma only for the purpose of satisfying the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, one is bound by the action and reaction of karma. Under the law of karma, a living entity wanders wherein the universe under the rule of eternal time. And sometime he become a mosquito and sometime Lord Brahma. To a sane man, this business is not very fruitful. Bhagavad Gita 9.25 gives a warning to the living entities. Yanti Deva Vrata Devan. Those who are acted to the worship of the demigod go to the planet of the demigods. And those who are addicted to worship of the Pitas, forefathers, go to the Pitas. Those who are inclined to material activities remain in the material sphere, but person who engage in devotional service reach the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where there is neither birth or nor death, nor different varieties of life, under the influence of the law of karma. The best interest of the living entity is to engage himself in devotional service and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur advised, My friend, you are being washed away in material nature's wave of time. Please try to understand that you are the eternal servant of the Lord. Then everything will stop and you will be eternally happy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is the point. The point is for us to understand our position to Jivera Swarupahaya Krishnara Nityadasa. This is our eternal constitutional position. So if we start acting on that platform, on that constitutional position, everything else will now fall in place for us. So nobody should be blaming whatever is happening to him, whichever situation is facing. It is a reaction of what he has done. It's the fruit of the seed that he has planted. So plant the kind of seed that when the fruits come, you will appreciate. So we should be conscious, yeah, conscious of what we do, conscious of what we think about, and conscious of everything we set as priority. So in that way, When the fruit comes, it will be desirable fruits. And this is the purpose of devotional service or spiritual life entirely, to reestablish ourselves in our original constitutional position as servants of God, so that everything desirable will come our way. We can create our future very consciously by selecting our activities. This is the point. So that is it. Let us allow the laws of God to work, and let us not think ourselves to be doers, and try to take responsibility of annihilating the whole race, the whole Yaksha race. And the mosquito, as only the point you can see, the mosquito exists. Lord Brahma also exists. The mosquito have the right to live, and as much as Lord Brahma has the right to live. Okay? To become a living entity, become a mosquito because of his own activities. And it can become Lord Brahma also because of his activities. So he should choose wisely. He should be educated in knowledge of his real identity, and by that he should act accordingly. Then his future is guaranteed. This is the point. This is what the whole Krishna consciousness movement is all about. And Srila Prabhupada is taking time to explain this purpose, giving this purpose, because this is what is happening in the world. This is the type of knowledge that the world needs to have. They need to know, and they need to act accordingly. And that for them to become better. Hare Krishna. There are some questions on these points, or commentaries on these points, or something we should give attention to that we are not addressing. Otherwise, we move to the next. This is our basic philosophy, actually. This is just our basic philosophy. But Swambhuva Manu is reminding Dhruva, because Dhruva is acting as if he has forgotten these basic things. And you cannot actually go back to Godhead unless you are fully cleansed of false ego. And false ego is not something that you can easily remove. It is very subtle. And unless as devotees we become completely free of false ego, there is no question of going back to God. We must address it. Very, very important. So most of us are free from physical involvements that will bring reactions. But what about what we think? What about what we feel? What about our emotions? What about the subtle level? See, you need to conquer the subtle body also. You need to purify the subtle body before you can go. And that's where the real battle is. So following 4 regulative principles is just the beginning. By the time one becomes very advanced, he knows that you need to conquer anger, envy, and replace malice with compassion, and you need to develop the higher quality. That's where the real work is. So this is what Swambhuva Manu is trying to draw Dhruva's attention to. Next verse, please.
Hare Krishna.
This one, Hare Krishna, yeah.
Vitkama Vadanti Enam Swabhabama Pare Vipa Eke Kalam Pare Daivam Pumsha Kamam Uta Pare. Translation. The differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, and others due to fate, and still others say it is due to desire. The purport. There are different types of philosophers. The Minsakars, atheists, astronomers, sexualists, and so many other classifications of mental speculators. The real conclusion is that it is our work only that binds us within this material world in different varieties of life. How these varieties are sprung up is explained in the Vedas. It is due to the desire of the living entity. The living entity is not a dead stone. He has different varieties of desires or karma. The Vedas say, Kamum Karishit. The living entities are originally parts of the Lord, like sparks of a fire, but they have dropped to this material world, attracted by a desire to lord it over nature. This is a fact. Every living entity is trying to lord it over material resources to the best of its ability. This karma or desire cannot be annihilated. There are some philosophers who say that if one gives up his desires, he again becomes liberated. But it's not at all possible to give up desire because desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, then the living entity will be a dead stone. Srila Narottama Das Thakur therefore advises that one turn is desire to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then desire becomes purified. And when one desires are purified, it becomes liberated from all material contamination. The conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their pleasure and pain are all imperfect. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world, where we create our different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. We are drawn in this material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our disease of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I think this is explanatory enough. Also, the Prabhupada is very clear about the point that desires cannot be separated from the living entities. Soon as you say living entity, there must be desires. So the idea is not to give up desires, as some philosophers used to say, give up all desires. It's not possible. Why? Because living entity is alive and is always active. So it must desire. But the point is that our desires are now contaminated because they are geared towards sense gratification. They are motivated by sense gratification. But when we withdraw these desires and redirect them to pleasing the Lord, then it becomes perfection of desire. And that kind of desire is called desire, no desire. So we attain desirelessness by desiring to please the Lord, to act in harmony with God, to act in accordance with direction, to align ourselves properly with His desires. So when the human being desires are properly aligned to the desires of the Lord, then his situation is said to be desirelessness. Purification will take place and perfection is attained. So this point is already known by all Bhakti Vaibhav students. But this is a preaching application because we are in the material world and we need to educate ourselves and educate people around us so that we can help raise the consciousness of people in general and move ahead. So we have a role as Bhakti Vaibhav students. Our role in this universe is to educate, to elevate, and to help liberate people from lower consciousness to higher consciousness. That is it. Desires cannot be given up, but they can be purified. And we should do that. Dhruva Maharaj is expected to purify his desire to control because it's not the supreme controller. So Abhuvaman is reminding him this so that he should allow God to be the supreme controller and to not overreact based on what he's seeing. That whatever is in this picture, small picture here, is actually a smaller picture within a bigger picture. In the bigger picture, God is involved, and our desires and the reactions of our desires and activities are involved. So don't fight the instruments. Don't fight the instruments. Don't overreact on the instrument unless you're actually ready to deal with the operator of the instrument. So, are you ready to kill Durga? Are you ready to kill Krishna also? Otherwise, stop this killing. Stop this killing. You know? So, this is the preaching. It's unnecessary at this point. Walk according to the Lord's desire and you'll be okay. Plan of the Lord's work according to it. Okay, the next verse, please.
Hare Krishna.
Look at the last sentence in the purport.
So,
we are drawn. Wait first. We are drawn into this material world by desire, but the same desire must be purified and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our disease of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. Yes, Chitra Prabhu.
reading the next verse.
Yeah.
Krishna,
Verse
sorry. Please, I have
23. Okay.
Okay.
Please, I have a question. Sorry. The question is, judging by this last statement that you quoted, there is an argument that we were originally in the spiritual world, but because of our desire, as soon as we have that desire, we fall into this material universe. Whereas some people say we have never been there, that we are eternally conditioned. So there's an argument like that. But this statement is telling us that we are drawn in this material world by desire, but the same desire must be free. No. Okay, we are drawn in this material world by desire. So please, I want a little bit of clarification on that aspect.
Leave that topic.
Okay.
Okay, let us go back.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
Sorry, please. So let us leave this topic because it's a big topic of its own. According to what we are doing now, this particular test, that statement is emphatic, and Srila Prabhupada wants us to know this now, and let us know this one, know it very well. Then if in any other place you start going in that direction of talking about the source of the living entity, then we will also follow him and try to know what he wants us to know at that point. So instrumentally we'll be going on.
Okay.
But let's sharpen our focus for now.
Okay. It's all right, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. We'll keep it in the car park for future discussion. Okay?
So the verse 23.
Yes.
Abhyaktasya prameyasya nana sakti shakti udaya.
Are you sure?
23.
Na chaite. That's what I'm saying. Putraka pratu.
Okay. Na chaite putraka bratu antaro dana danuga visha gadana yostata umso daivam hi karanam. Translation. My dear son, those yakshas who are transcendent of Kuvera are not actual.
Wait,
Who are descendants of Kuvera are not actually the killers of your brother. The birth and death of every living entity are caused by the Supreme. who is certainly the cause of all causes. So no purport. We go to the next verse. Sa eva vishwam srijati, sa eva vati hanticha, atapihi anahankaran najyate guna kamabi. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead creates this material world, maintains it, and annihilates it in due course of time. But because he is transcendental to such activities, he is never affected by ego in such action or by the modes of material nature. Purport. In this verse, the word anahankara means without ego. The conditioned soul has a false ego, and as a result of his karma, he gets different types of bodies in this material world. Sometimes he gets the body of a demigod, and he thinks that body to be his identity. Similarly, when he gets the body of a dog, he identifies himself with that body. But for the Supreme Personality of God, there's no such distinction between the body and the soul. Bhagavad Gita therefore satisfies that anyone who thinks of Krishna as an ordinary human being, is without knowledge of his transcendental nature and is a great fool. The Lord says, Namam Kamani Limpati. He is not affected by anything he does because he is never contaminated by the material modes of nature. That we have a material body proves that we are infected by the three modes of material nature. The Lord says to Arjuna, you and I had many births previously, but I remember everything, whereas you do not. That is the difference between the living entity or conditioned soul and the supreme soul. The super soul, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no material body. And because he has no material body, he is not affected by any work he executes. There are many Mayavadi philosophers who consider that Krishna's body is the effect of a concentration of the material mode of goodness. And they distinguish Krishna's soul from Krishna's body. The real situation, however, is that the body of the conditioned soul, even if he has a large accumulation of material goodness, is material. Whereas Krishna's body is never material, it is transcendental. Krishna has no false ego, for he does not identify himself with a false and temporary body. His body is always eternal. He descends to this world in his own original spiritual body. This is explained in the Bhagavad Gita as Param Bhavam. The words Param Bhavam and Divyam are especially significant in understanding Krishna's personality. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is also self-explanatory. The Bhakti Vaibhav today. Self-explanatory. The main point is that the Supreme Lord does not have false ego. Therefore, his actions are completely transcendental all the time. But the living entities have false ego, and therefore their actions are contaminated by false ego. So when the Lord acts, it does not attract any reaction. But when the living entity acts, it attracts reaction. Therefore, we should also remove that false ego. Unless we remove the false ego, we cannot become fully transcendental. So we should be ready to work on a false ego. You can be very advanced, very, very advanced, but false ego is very subtle. As long as you are having some false ego, your activities are contaminated by the false ego, you cannot transcend. You cannot become fully free. You cannot become free from reactions. And the old scriptures are talking about this, how to become like the lotus flower that is in the water, but is not touched by the water. Padma Patrami Bambasa. We are supposed to act in such a way that our actions do not attract sinful reaction. You see, that means false ego must be removed or must be purified completely to true ego. We should know our position and act accordingly. Then will be free from reactions, just like the Lord's. This is the purport of this verse. So are there some questions here or commentaries? Otherwise, we'll go to the next verse. Isa Bhutani. Continue, please. Yesterday
Prabhuji,
I've sent.
can I
Yesterday
read?
I've sent. Yes, Prabhu. Carry on.
एष भूतानि भूतात्मा भूतेषु भूतभावन स्वशक्त्या मायया युक्त सृजत्यति च पाति च. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the super soul of all living entities. He is the controller and maintainer of everyone. Through the agency of his eternal external energy, he creates, maintains, and annihilates everyone. Purport: There are two kinds of energies in the matter of creation. The Lord creates this material world through his external material energy, whereas the spiritual world is manifestation of his internal energy. He is always associated with the internal energy, but he is always aloof from the material energy. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord says, Mat Shanti Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Twas Avasthita. All living entity are living on me or on my energy, but I am not everywhere. He is personally always situated in the spiritual world, in the material world also, whereas the Supreme Lord is personally present is to be understood as being the spiritual world. For example, the Lord is worshipped in a temple by pure devotees. The temple is therefore to be understood as a being the spiritual world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is also very clear. These days the purpose are very, very clear to everybody. So can you give a little summary of the purpose as far as you understand?
Yes. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In this purport, it's said that super soul is there in all living entities, and he is the controller, maintainer of everyone. So is everyone we see moving and everywhere is the energy of the Lord. So we can see from here there is some example also given, like we see we are a devotee, they worship the Lord in the temple. So we have to understand that the temple is the spiritual world, because Lord is there in spiritual world, and wherever we are worshiping him in a temple, it's also a spiritual world. So that's how we have to see the Lord. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Okay, okay, thank you very much. Wherever the Lord stays, lives is a spiritual world. But Chitraketu Prabhu, can you explain this particular code there that all living entities are living on me or on my energy, but I'm not everywhere? How do you understand this?
Yes. The Supreme Lord is saying so. That
It's in
all
the
living
book.
entities. Yes. Prabhupada is saying so. Because Prabhupada understands the Supreme Lord as he is better in a perfect way than us with our minute and mind. So Prabhupada is helping us to understand that the Supreme Lord, all living entities are living on his energy, on the Supreme Lord. Yes. It is by Krishna's powers, is this thing that we are all, everything that we are all existing by Krishna's, let's say, by Krishna's powers, his energies that we are living, and we are existing. And Krishna is also coexisting with us wherever we are. However, whatever activities that we are doing, even though he's with us as a Paramatma observing, but he's not part of every activity that we do, because some activities we make Krishna involved. We make him the center, like we are doing deity worship, we are doing. But sometimes our personal activities of self-interest and other things, Krishna is not a part of it. He's not with it. This is just as a small explanation that I am doing it to, when we take it to the to the higher level or the bigger level. I'm just giving that small for us to apply to in a bigger term, in a bigger distance. That he's not. He's a Paramatma living in everything, in every atom. Yes, his energy is by his energy. Even though, let's say practically, a man and a woman conceives a baby, it is by Krishna's energy that they use it to produce everything. They have produced the baby. They can never produce it on their own, because it's Krishna who created all those energy, all those byproducts, all of that, all those products or material that we combine all of them to achieve anything. However, he's not in it, or he's not. Let's say he's not with everything that we do, unless we choose to make him a part of everything, to do it and make him the center. That's my little explanation I can give for now. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Madhuban, yesterday's absentee, can you please explain the second aspect of it a little according to how you understand it? But I am not everywhere. What does it actually mean? He has done a nice explanation also there. You have to unmute first. Yesterday absentee, unmute first.
I gave you the reason why I was unable to. I think I sent you a message. It was beyond my capacity. There was no energy. So I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
So about this statement that is always associated. Please, what's the statement again?
The statement is in the purport there after the 9.4 in red.
Okay. That is personally always situated. Okay. All the living entities are on me, on my, but I'm not everywhere. I think what Krishna is trying to explain is that he's never in the material world. You know, he's very aloof from material world. So, and that's why it was also emphasized that the temple is therefore to be understood as the spiritual world. So Krishna has nothing to do with material world. And when we look at the first statement, they said there are two kinds of energies in the matter of creation. The Lord creates the material world through external energy, material energy, whereas the spiritual world is a manifestation of his internal energy. So there is a remarkable difference there. And Krishna has nothing to do with the material energy. It's aloof.
And he also specifically say he's always associated with the internal energy, but he's always aloof from the material. So, what does it mean by being aloof from the material energy? This is where the question is.
It doesn't want it because it's an inferior energy. So there's no way. Krishna, he doesn't have a material body. He has nothing with material. So material was specifically created because of our other desires. So Krishna has no hand in it. So,
but the energy is coming from him. So how can you say it's aloof from him?
Because it's created for our own desire, our own other desire, which is different from rendering service to the Lord. So it's inferior. It's inferior.
Okay. Matter employed, matter dovetailed in the service of spirit, it regains its spiritual potency. How do you understand? How can you explain this? Matter dovetailed in the service of spirits.
Yes, since we are eternal servant of the Lord, with the mentality, we make sure that whatever activities we are doing will be in connection of the Supreme Lord. For instance, if we are working or struggling, whatever proceed we get from there, then we must use it for the service of the Lord to purify our activities. Otherwise, we're only serving ourselves. So it makes us to always remember that we are eternal servants of the Supreme Lord.
Okay, can you explain what it means by this body is a bad bargain in the same vein?
In the same vein. Well, this body, is created out of our material desire to engage in sense gratification. And as long as we continue to identify with this material body, we will continue in this material world. So we continue to suffer. So which makes it a very bad bargain, even though we think we can enjoy, but any attempts to enjoy, we end up in miseries, more miseries. So it's not good for us until we come back to our senses to know that we're eternal servants and we're able to dovetail all our activities into the service of the Supreme Lord, genuinely, not superficially. Then we will eventually be liberated, attain liberation.
Okay, so we should make use of the best use of the bad bargain. So
yes,
if material energy is engaged in the service of the spirit, it regains its spiritual potency. So everything is actually on the Lord, but we experience it materially because of our independent desires. And once our desires are rechanneled to pleasing the Lord, the same thing becomes spiritual. Material energy is converted to spiritual energy. There is conversion of energy. So this is what we are expected to do. We should engage matter in the service of spirit. That's why this body itself is a bad bargain. When we engage the body in the service of the Lord, we are making the best use of the bad bargain. And that's what we are advised to do. And if that is there, this whole material world becomes part of the spiritual world. That means the problem is that we should remove ourselves. We are thinking ourselves to be in the center. We should remove ourselves from the center, let the center be Krishna. Then we learn the art and science of engaging everything in the service of the Lord. Then everything becomes spiritualized. Then Krishna, you see Krishna manifesting. That energy is already converted. And that's what we are trying to do in our spiritual endeavor. We have to convert material consciousness into spiritual consciousness, whereby Krishna is in the center. This is all what we are trying to do. So, Dhruva Maharaj from the center. Hare Krishna.
Yes. In the explanation, I like what you just said. Just to because what Madhavan Prabhu said earlier was kind of, again, going to create some kind of this thing, even though he was trying to explain himself, and it's good. Because when he said that, because Krishna, when he was trying to explain, he said that because the material energy is inferior and contaminating. And that's why Krishna is aloof. Yes, and you brought in with the sense that when the material energy is being used to serve Krishna, then it regains its distance, its spiritual potency. Yes, because it is true that the material energy is inferior and it is contaminating somehow. But it is not all the material energy all the time that is contaminating. We can take water, for instance. Water is a material energy, it's a material element, but it's not all the time contaminating. However, when we use water in serving Krishna at this thing, it regains its proper perfection of using it to serve Krishna and using it to against its spiritual energy. That is the good thing. And as we said, the body becomes purified when it's used. This body is contaminating. As we sit down even every day, we are saying the body is contaminating. When we divide it, as we are talking, the saliva is coming out, is contaminating. But once we are chanting, we are mentioning Krishna's names, even the saliva becomes purified. When we are on the altar, maybe we might go out before coming from the altar, going to the altar. We go to take our bath, we go to toilet, we clean ourselves, we clean our hands. That same hand sometimes is being used to clean, excuse me to say, the left hand to clean our private part. But when we come, we use it together to touch the Lord. But it becomes purified as such. So when we are giving explanation that the material, the energy is inferior and is contaminating, and we do not further explain it when it becomes purified, then it brings a problem that all the time we are contaminating. Therefore, then we are not even qualified, or we are not supposed to even come to Krishna. We are not supposed to go to the altar. But once we explain further and says that as soon as it comes into this, when it's used in serving Krishna, it becomes purified, then persons come to understand. So thank you all. I'm just highlighting that point because we might say it another place and it will bring a kind of misunderstanding or a controversy, or somebody might feel like, okay, then we are not supposed to even. We are always contaminated. We are not supposed to. So when we are even chanting, our salivas become purified. When we are glorifying Krishna, when we are reading about Krishna, everything becomes purified again. That is it. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. Yes, this is the principle of Yukta Vairagya, Niribanda Krishna Sambandhi, Yukta Vairagya, Uchat. And by explanation, it is said that we don't have anything. So we don't have anything to renounce. You cannot renounce what you do not possess. Everything belongs to Krishna. You see, it is when you renounce the mentality to lord it over, then you become renounced. So when we say renunciation, we are talking about renouncing the false mentality to lord over. But we cannot renounce anything because everything belongs to Krishna. You can only renounce what you possess. And the false ego that we have possessed, and we need to renounce it, then everything becomes spiritual.
Yes.
The whole material world becomes paraphernalia. All the things you see, they become paraphernalia for the devotional service of the Lord. And by extension, this world turns to the spiritual world automatically.
Yes.
So,
Prabhu, please, can I ask this general question? Suppose the whole world was now chanting. Everybody was engaging in deity worship, or doing every living entity was engaging in this material universe. Will Krishna destroy the whole universe again? This is a general question to it's not about this topic, but whilst we were listening, this is a question maybe in the later maybe somebody can answer or later. But I'm just thinking, suppose as we are talking now, as we are thinking of engaging, because in Prabhupada's, one of Prabhupada's daily quotes, he said that even the drunkard, while drinking the alcohol, should think that he's his think is that energy is Krishna. So if you think about Krishna and if you think he's enjoying Krishna, that becomes Krishna conscious. If you think that alcohol is a this thing of Krishna. So as you are saying, it's very perfect. And even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that sex is contaminating in a sex to produce a Krishna conscious type. I am that pleasure. I'm that. So it is very, very important when we are explaining. If we don't explain very well, we make people will become complicated. So my question still stands. Will Krishna, suppose everything was used this and will Krishna destroy this universe at the end of time? Hare Krishna. It can be answered later anytime.
Anyway, thank you very much. But just a brief response to that. Like in the first yugas, where everybody was Krishna conscious. Everybody was Krishna conscious. Krishna was in the center. Yet, there is a duration of time allotted to that yuga. And when that time reaches, a different set is unfolded. Understand? So, it appears to be destroyed. The first yuga appeared to be destroyed, but it was not actually destroyed. Another scene, another chapter is open. Then that chapter continues with its own characteristics. Then when that chapter ends, because there's a stipulated time for its beginning and its end. When it ends, another chapter will open again, will unfold. So this constant creation and recreation will continue to take place. You see, ultimately, pure yoga will emerge again and will go on. So this is already marked that at the end of this time it will become like that. So it will appear to be destruction, but it's just the end of one chapter, and the end of one chapter is the beginning of another one. So let us not fear. Even our bodies, when the body ends, people are lamenting that death has taken place. But you will take another body. If you are not qualified to go back home, you will take a fresh body again and continue. Knowing that we are spirit souls and the body is just the apartment we are occupying. When one apartment expires, it is a joy to even enter into another fresh apartment. So very soon we will come to that. But the immediate point is that if we learn the art and science of seeing everything as Krishna's property and engaging everything in the service of Krishna, this whole material world itself is no longer the material world. It turns to the spiritual world. And life will be sweet, joyful for everyone. And just like that, no lamentation again, no illusion. Krishna is in the center. And that is perfection.
Everybody go
That's
back.
why it's not compulsory you leave your house to go and stay in temple before you can become a pure devotee. You can do the conversion in your house. The best rooms will be for Krishna, then everybody worshiping Krishna. Your house is an extension of Krishna palace, like this. See, so that is the point we are trying to emphasize on. You have nothing to renounce. All what you need to renounce is that false sense of propriety. That's all, and everything becomes spiritualized. Go, Ranga.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So that is why the word dovetailed. That is why the word dovetailed was used. Dovetailed. You have to dovetail. Yes, you have to dovetail it for the service. Yes.
But if your parlor is bigger than your altar, you have to be careful. If your parlor is more well equipped than your altar, you have to be careful. You are assuming the position of the supreme controller of the house. So the lordship room should be the best furnished with the highest facilities. Then you see yourself as subordinate. Whenever you enter there, you say, hey, this place past my own place. So, that's how it should be. So the question is, in your house, is your altar area more sophisticatedly equipped, than your parlor, where you receive guests? That is the question you should answer. That the answer should not be here. Go and answer it in your privacy. We don't want to catch people like that. We don't want to catch people like that. But We know that many people, they have many beautiful things in their parlor. The chairs are sophisticated, the tables, but the altar is just some minimal something they have made in some corner of the. You see, so there is something wrong. The person who is in the center of that house is not the person living in that altar. The person living in the most beautiful parlor is actually the center of the house. So by the time we will adjust all that, your parlor should be smaller than your altar, place of worship. That room, the best room in your house, should be for Krishna. Then we know you are dovetailing. And that is manifesting in your immediate environment also. So that is it. Otherwise, philosophically we dovetail, but practically we are still in the center. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Yes, I'm trying to understand these instructions you are giving, because my understanding is that the parlor is a different space for different purpose. The altar is a different space for different purpose. And when you are using an example of a kitchen, it doesn't make clarity for me, because the altar is a different place with a different needs, and the parlor is a different need. So, and you use an example of a cushion chair. So I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
I say we don't want to catch people here today. People who have decorated their parlor so well and use minimal facilities for their altar. We don't want to catch them today. So anyway, what you are saying is true, but the requirements in the altar area or the place of worship should be first class. This is what we are actually saying in essence. They should be first class. The best of everything should be there. You cannot put chair there. You cannot put certain things in the parlor there, because the requirements are different. However, whatever you put in the altar should be something first class, quality. That's what
I think circumstance applies over here in cases where people have their own house, or maybe they are not renting it. I believe they can create, even while constructing it before, they can create an altar room. Yes. But in places where you are renting, you come somehow, you don't get extra rooms, because the person who constructed it for you to come and rent did not have that mindset to maybe create a places for altar room. Except in India, in Hindu habitated places where when they are constructible, they know that, okay, for sure, you need a temple room, a small room for you. That is when they create it. In India, that provision is made. But here, it is not made like that. So I think sometimes and places and circumstances also affect some people.
That is true.
Yes.
And sometimes it's just small part of the corner you use as a small corner of the altar, or the parlor used as a altar. So, but then the thing you put there as your altar there should be first class. That's all. The curtain you use to should be first class. That's all. Your arty tray should be very nice, and your chamaras and these things should be the best. That's all. And the president you offer should be the best. And after all, you are going to honor it at the end. So you can coexist with the Lord in that way. And if the Lord like, you can take over the parlor when you are away. When you are away, it is to his standard. That is what you are saying. But it's just a hint that whatever we are doing, the best should be for the Lord. That's just what we are trying to say. But we pray that all devotees should have their own buildings. These are prayers that devotees, especially householders, they should have their own plots of land. They should have their buildings. And in any of their buildings, there should be a room for the Lord. And that room should be the most sophisticated, if they can do that. Otherwise, situationally, we try to improve our altar corner. That's all. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for drawing attention to this, and it is part of it. Whatever is the best, we should try to offer to the Lord. till we offer our consciousness, and the best consciousness we want to still offer to him. But he is master, we are his servants. Hare Krishna. Okay. Thank you very much. The next verse. Tam Eva.
Tam eva mrityum amritam tata daivam savatmano pehi jagat parayanam yasmai balim vishwashrijo haranti gavoyata vainashidama yantrita. Translation. My dear boy, Dhruva, please surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, is working under his control, just as a bull, prompted by a rope in its nose, is controlled by its owner. Purport. The material disease is to declare independence from the Supreme Controller. Factually, our material existence begins when we forget the Supreme Controller and wish to lord it over material nature. Everyone in the material world is trying his best to become the Supreme Controller, individually, nationally, socially, and in many other ways. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to stop fighting by his grandfather, who was concerned that Dhruva was adhering to a personal ambition to fight to annihilate the whole race of Yakshas. In this verse, therefore, Swayambhuva Manu seeks to eradicate the last tinge of false ambition in Dhruva by explaining the position of the Supreme Controller. The words mrityum, amritam, death, and immorality are significant.
It's not
In
immorality.
Bhagavad Gita, sorry, yes, the words mrityum, amritam, death, and immortality are significant. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, I am ultimate death, who takes away everything from the demons. The demons' business is to continually struggle for existence as lords over material nature. The demons repeatedly meet death after death and create a network of involvement in the material world. The Lord is death for demons, but for the devotees, he is Amrita, eternal life. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality. For whatever they are doing in this life, they will continue to do in the next. They will simply change their material bodies for spiritual bodies. Unlike the demons, they no longer have to change material bodies. The Lord, therefore, is simultaneously death and immortality. He's there for demons and immortality for devotees. He's the ultimate goal of everything because he is the cause of all causes. Dhruva Maharaj was advised to surrender unto him in all respects, without keeping any personal ambition. One may put forward the argument, why are the demigods worshipped? The answer is given here that demigods are worshipped by less intelligent men. The demigods themselves are self-sacrifice for the ultimate satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So can you explain to us? He is dead for demons and immortality for devotees.
Yes, in my understanding, the Lord is there for devotees. Prabhu, please go to your question again.
So he's saying here in the purport that he is dead for demons and immortality for devotees.
Yes, he's in the first place, he's there for demons because demons are always acting inimical towards Krishna. And gradually by their
network demon has arrested Chitraketu's voice. Chitraketu Putra's data is finished. I think that is what has happened to him. Very soon he will vanish. If that is true, very soon the picture will go away. So before he comes back, someone else will explain this to us. How is Chitakedi Putra has vanished? Meaning his data is finished. That is the whole secret. It was not network demon. His data got exhausted. So can somebody help to explain this? Is death for demons and immortality for devotees? And maybe to help you, let me read this. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality. For whatever they are doing in this life, they will continue to do in the next. They will simply change their material bodies for spiritual bodies. Unlike the demons, they no longer have to change material bodies. The Lord, therefore, is simultaneously death and immortality. He is death for the demons and immortality for devotees. So, how is the Lord's immortality for devotees? If you can explain that, then we have gotten the point. How is the Lord immortality for devotees?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
I want to, if for a devotee at the time of death, when he could remember Krishna, then he goes to Krishna Loka, he becomes immortal, go back to. But for a demon, he is dead. He will die, take another body, die, take another body. So he continues this cycle of repeated birth and death. But for a devotee, saying Krishna, he becomes liberated and enter into eternal life.
Okay, that is good. But listen to this sentence again. Devotees who render continuous service to the Lord have already attained immortality. For whatever they are doing in this life, they will continue to do in the next. This is the immortality of the devotees, because the devotee is already doing devotional service here. So when he changes, continue to do devotional service. So devotional service is the only occupation for him, both now and in his next life. Whereas the occupation for the demons will be taken away, plus all the results, because the Lord is not in the center. So at the point of death, everything is taken away by the Lord.
Yeah.
Yes, but the devotee just continues his devotional service in the spiritual as he was doing here. So for him, it is immortality. He attains immortality while here, because he is already doing the activity we do after liberation here. So past, present, and future are the same for the devotees. But for the demons, everything is taken away at death. Then you have to start all over again from birth, going to school and do that. Oh, in the end, he will not even know where he ended. You see? So anyway, that is the point I wanted to point out, that devotees are glorious and the activities of devotional service are the ultimate activities. So as we have come in contact with these ultimate activities, we should try to do them with all our hearts, because we have nothing to lose, even at death. And even after death, we continue to do devotional service. So all glories to devotional service and devotional activities. In fact, the only work worth doing is devotional service, because it is eternal. You don't lose anything. Death, even death cannot take away your devotional service. So you're already in your eternal occupation. Savai punsa paruda movia. To bhakti adoksade. I took your pratyata yatma suprasidas. You are engaged in your supreme occupation already. Why here? So you are a mystic. Yeah. You are you are a mystic among ordinary people. You are doing activities we do after liberation. Why here? That's why your activities are inconceivable to the coming evil. But because you see, you know the connection, you know the benefit of what you are doing, you don't care. Time will take away these comings, so-called comings, with their riches, with their bank balance, with their houses, with their education. Time will just take everything away from them. But your activities are kept in your spiritual bank account. So you just continue from there. You are the only wise man. The devotee is the only wise man. Therefore, you should remain a devotee and try to perfect his devotional service as much as possible, because he has nothing to lose. Even death cannot take away the devotional service from him. This is the point I wanted to.
Thank you, Prabhu. There's no loss of demolition.
Huh?
I said that
Yes, yes,
I think there's no loss of demolition.
yes, no loss of demolition.
And every little advance.
Yes, save you from the most dangerous type of fear. And that most dangerous type of fear is the fear of losing everything, the fear of death. You see? So all glories to devotional service. So Ambuva Manu is very emphatically explaining this to Dhruva Maharaj. In fact, so Ambuva Manu was very, very brutally honest. It will take a true devotee, a courageous person, to tell this to even his own children. To say this whole truth, that you are not the supreme controller, and drive it deep to his understanding. However powerful you are, he called him my dear boy. You think you are very powerful and you are still my grandson, you are my boy, you are a small boy. A boy doesn't know everything. No. The father knows much more than him. So as powerful as you are, destroyer of the Yaksa race, you are still the small boy, my dear boy. You are not the supreme controller. For a father to have courage to tell his son and grandson that, look, you are not the supreme controller, you are just thinking yourself to be what you are not. You are a Maya. It takes a brutally honest father to be able to say this to his sons and grandsons. So all glory to Jai. If devotees can be brutally honest like this, we can learn how to speak the truth without consideration of this or that, without diplomacy, and say the truth and stand by it. Things will go wrong. Initially, the people will not take it. Other devotees, they will not take it. Say, you are being rude, you are this, that, but they will go and think of it. The truth is always the truth. So Ambuva Manu was able to tell Dhruva Maharaj this truth very brutally. And he didn't care who he was. Say, my dear boy Dhruva, please surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the ultimate goal of the progress of the world. Everyone, including the demigods headed by the Brahma, is working under his control. Just as a bull prompted by a rope in his nose is controlled by its owner. Very brutal truth. And we need it sometimes. And the spiritual master is heavy with truth like this. A spiritual master should not be playing diplomacy, should be ready to speak the truth. And if that happens, then so many things can take place, honestly. So we should practice how to be truthful also. Example. And next verse is number what?
28.
28. Okay.
Yes, please.
Read, please. Somebody should read.
Ya pancha vasho jananim tvam vihaya matu sapatnyang vachashabina maman vanam katastapasa praktyak aksyam arodhya labai murutihi padakrit lukya.
Thank you very much. We have to wait first. We are Bhakti Vaibhav students, so we have to learn the meters for chanting this sloka. So
Yes,
We
please.
have to learn slokas for chanting these slokas. So these slokas are sweet songs. So they are sweet songs. So they are
I bet
sweet songs.
you.
So
Yes.
wait first. Let me release one sweet meter for you.
Okay.
Ya panchabarso jananim twambiaya matu sapatnia bachasa bina mama banam gadasta pasapratya gasam aradio lebe mudni padam trilokia.
At times when I
So
chant like this, I feel like I'm not in this here. I'm not here. At times
so
when I chant sweetly, I feel I'm not here.
so let us learn this meter. So
Okay.
yes, your chanting was very nice because you pronounce the words distinctly. But there are meters that make it like a song. And you
Okay.
see Salik, even the slogan that is longer than this, there is a meter
Mm-hmm.
for this. And
Mm-hmm.
Salik use it also sometimes.
Yes.
So as Bhakti Vaibhav student, we should be interested in learning those meters.
Hare
But
Krishna.
your chanting was very clear also and nice. Okay, carry on. Translation.
Okay. My dear Droba, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievous affected by the wealth of your mother, so-called wife. And you very boldly gave out the protection of your mother and went to the forest to engage in the mystic process for realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of this, you have already achieved the topmost position in all the three worlds. Purport. Manu was very proud that Dhruva Maharaj was one of the descendants in his family because at the age of only 5 years, Dhruva begins meditation upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Within 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. Factually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu's dynasty or the human family. The human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendant of Manu. Not only is Dhruva Maharaj the glory of the family of Swayambhuva Manu, but he is the glory of the entire human society because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead. He was especially requested not to do anything unbefitting a surrendered soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead, he was especially requested not to do anything unbefitting a surrendered soul. So there's something there. Normally, we used to say, when you surrender, the activities you do after surrendering are called devotional service or activities of bhakti. When you surrender first, then you do activities. Those activities are called activities of bhakti. But when you do activities first and you surrender the result of your activities, that is karma yoga. When you surrender first, as in Savadama Parityaja and Mamekam Saranam Braja, and you do activities, all the activities you do after surrendering, they are called activities of bhakti. But if you do activities and surrender the result after doing the activities, then your activities are karma yoga. It could be sakama karma yoga. It could be niskama karma yoga. It could be Bhagavad Arpita niskama karma yoga. But your activities are in the category of karma yoga, acting and then offering the results. But activities of bhakti begin when you first surrender. Then surrendering, then acting after surrendering. Those activities are bhakti yoga. So here, Swayambhuva Manu is pointing out to Dhruva that he's already a devotee. He has already surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So after becoming a devotee, you have to be careful, very careful of what you do. Your people already see you as a devotee. Therefore, you should be careful, very, very careful what you do. That means your activities must be done with patience, with tolerance, with compassion, with friendship, all the characteristics, those ornaments of the devotee. You should act with the ornaments on you. So whatever a devotee does, that's why I say a devotee is like a white cloth. A devotee is like a white cloth. Any little stain on a white cloth, everybody will notice it. Every little stain on a white cloth, everybody will notice it, and they can easily criticize it. But if you are wearing black cloth or different color cloth, you can hardly notice the stains. So now that you are already a devotee, Dhruva, you are a white cloth. This is what Swayambhuva is saying. Now that you are already a devotee, Dhruva, you are a white cloth. So you have to be very careful what you do now. Because any activity you do now will be seen as activity done by a pure devotee. And the Saratis Resas, that are the Petaro Jana. Saya Pramana Ukute, look at start and overcut. Whatever a great man does, common man follows. And whatever standard is set by exemplary, all the world pursues. So you are already a devotee. So be very, very careful. Be very, very careful what you do. This one you are doing, it is just emotional overindulgence. But people will see it, they will quote it, and they will use it as example in the future. So be careful. Stop this killing. At this point, it is unnecessary. Okay? The devotee should put into practice the knowledge he has gotten when challenged by circumstances. When the circumstances challenge you and you forget all what you have learned, forget your ornaments, you forget to wear your ornaments, then you are giving back the example. That's why Arjuna asked Krishna also. He said, for one who has become a devotee like this, how does he talk? How does he respond to challenges? Because challenges must come. How does he sit? How does he walk? How does he conduct himself when he's being challenged by circumstances? Then Krishna to speak all those ornaments to decorate it. So similarly, Swayambhuva Manu is addressing Dhruva as somebody who is already a devotee, who is already favored by the Lord, who has attained the goal that every Manu is aspiring for. So as a great example, a pride for all Manus, all Manavas, all human beings, be very, very careful. But whatever you do, follow, and they will quote you. So this is the point there. As we are devotees, we have to be very careful. Even Kamins here, ordinarily, you think that the Kamins do not know us. But the Kamins around us, they know us. They are observing our activities very critically. They are wondering up to today. And if somebody is wondering about you, the person will be monitoring your activities without knowing. The devotees around in every community we live, people know us. So they will wonder when you go and preach somewhere and say, devotees don't eat meat, fish or egg, they don't gamble. Immediately somebody will say, but I'm coming to sorry. But I saw someone like this, who is one of you who comes to this restaurant in the evening or in the night to come and buy goat meat all the time, or to come and drink all the time. The minute they tell you that you say you are devoted, but do you also do these things? Just to help you. Krishna has positioned them to help you to practice, because people like good things, even though they cannot do themselves. You see? So devotees have to be very careful what they do. Okay, Salik Prabhu, you have something to say.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I wanted to ask, you've spoken so much about devotee, and I'm trying to understand what class of devotee can we classify Dhruva? I'm trying to understand based on the description of the scriptures of different class of devotees, because sometimes the word devotee we use it so oftenly, but the Chaitanya Charitamrita tells us about different class of devotees. So I'm wondering, what category of devotee is Dhruva? And how can we learn from his level of bhakta in relation to the discussion that we're having?
So, what class of devotee is Dhruva? What class of devotee is Dhruva? Okay, if we want to go situation, I don't know the exact classification of devotees as you quote in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can you enumerate the different classes that are enumerated there? Because my explanation want to go from different angles. That somebody has his varnas. One is a Kshatriya, one is a Vaishya, one is a Brahmana, one is a Shudra. But they can all be devotees. And they are not Vaishnavas. The Vaishnava will be above all of them, but they are all devoted, can do devotional service if they follow strictly the rules and regulations in their ashram. You see, but some people are Vaishnavas who are like transcendental to divanas and ashrams. So the classification you are referring to in Chaitanya Charitamrita, what are the classifications there?
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that there are three classes of devotees: Uttama Bhakta, Madhyama Bhakta, and Kanishta Bhakta. And he described their qualities in the Madhya Lila of Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 7. So, in relation to the activities of Dhruva Maharaj here, I'm asking you a question for my clarification. So, which class of devotee can we put Dhruva Maharaj?
Okay. In this kind of situation. So which class can we put Dhruva Maharaj? All students, we throw the question to you. Which class can we put Dhruva Maharaj? Is he a Kanista, a Madhyama, or Uttama?
It's a Madhyaman.
It's a Madhyama.
Yeah. It's a young boy. So having seen the Supreme Lord, that's a qualification, but he needs experience of life, knowledge, knowledge to take him to the Tama level. So he's a very young boy. That was why I was asking which age was he made the king that time. That was my curiosity. So he's acting like that. And that's why his father or his grandfather has to, give him tell him the truth or give him more knowledge, more realization so that he will understand properly his real position and then how to act. even though Dhruva himself has been, even this information has been given to him by Krishna that his brother is going to die and the stepmother also is going to die. So having given such information, we shouldn't be get carried away. So the man now has to remind him that he should not be attached to the bodily relationship, and so on and so forth. So he has to be in philosophy so that he will now become situated in eternal position. That's my
Ripo, thank you,
contribution.
thank you very much. His Grace Madhavan has classified Dhruva Maharaj as a Madhyama Bhakta. Jyotiswarup Prabhu, do you agree? If not, why not? Where does he actually belong, according to your understanding?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Yes,
Krishna.
I agree with Madhuvan Prabhu, because as we are hearing and listening the pastime of Dhruva Maharaj, I was even thinking that since 2 days in my mind that even though Lord has touched his conch shells on his head, so so he has seen the Lord personally, but maybe lack of maybe experience or knowledge, maybe he has done this killing of yakshas. So for Uttam Adhikari or Uttam Bhakta, they see Lord in everyone's heart, and by doing so, he maybe he can fall under Madhyam Adhikari. Yes, Prabhuji. That's
Okay,
what I feel.
okay. Thank you very much.
Right.
Because Uttamadikari will see the super soul in everyone's heart, and he will just be offering obeisances to everyone, because the Lord is seen and is relating to the Lord. That's why even our pure devotees, even our gurus, sometimes when you offer obeisance to them, they will also offer back to you, because they are not seeing you as a devotee, but they are seeing the super soul in your heart, and they are offering the obeisances to the super soul there. You see? But yes, yes. Thank you for your own contribution. Chitra Ketuputra Prabhu, are you there? Kamalas Prabhu, are you there?
Hare Krishna, I'm here. All glory to you, Maharaj.
Oh, Kamalas Prabhu is there. Oh, by His grace. Welcome.
Hare Krishna.
I was committing offenses thinking you are not there. Forgive
No,
me.
I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, so where do you classify Dhruva Maharaj? Is he a Kanista, Mandama, or Uttam?
It's a
His Grace
Madhyam.
Madhavan has said Madhyama, Jyoti Swarup said Madhyama. And you say what?
Madhyam.
Madhyama. Why do you say so?
Because a Madhyama is not like an Uttama who sees everything as transcendental. Dhruva Maharaj was angered by the killing of his brother and therefore took some actions.
Like you now, as you are. If somebody attack your brother or kill your brother, will you remain quiet, or you will also take up?
I'm not a pure devotee.
You won't kill me. Kamala's Baba is brutally honest, like me too. Me, I'm not a pure devotee also. I'm not about Bhakta. With my first set of reactions, you might be very angry with me also. Maybe later I will come to realize that I will apologize. But I will be very, very brutal also. So you will not take it. Okay. But Utamas, it's not easy. Utama is not a small position. It's not
Hare
a small
Krishna.
position. Hare Krishna.
Yes, I'm thinking that is why for our behavior right now, when somebody attack my brother or my sister or even my wife or my children, I will react. Be a devotee, I will still react. After somebody will tell me, oh, are you a devotee? Before I will regret. So right now, this study is showing us how to behave. That's why all these things are there for us. So we are fortunate to hear all those things. Not only here, we can understand this one. But when we are coming, we can't understand. So we are privileged. We are fortunate to understand these things and to come to this level so that we will gradually come to Uttama. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And even at the beginning of the chapter, it was said that becoming a devotee does not mean we don't have emotions again. That a devotee cannot be angry. If somebody is angry, you say you are a devotee, why are you angry? And we were referring to how Anuma burned down Lanka with anger and in the service of Lord Ramachandra. Arjuna was able to fight because you cannot fight unless you are angry. Arjuna fought. And many, many examples, if we go deep, we see. So, devotees, it is not out of place for devotees to also become angry when things happen. But there is a limit, the purpose for which is angry. If it's personally attacked, even if somebody personally attacks you, it's not easy to remain quiet. That somebody is beating you, whipping you with something that can even wound your eye, and you are just there. That I'm a devotee. Whatever you can do to prevent him from, hitting your eyes, because you have to use your eyes to serve Krishna also. You have to use your body to serve Krishna also. Your body is no longer a witness. Somebody is attacking you because you are a devotee, you will not retaliate. You just allow him to beat you to nonsense, wound you anyhow. It will be difficult to see those kind of devotees. So for now. And I don't think I will judge the person wrong if he retaliates. You give me heavy blow. I also give you heavy blow so that you can also check yourself from blowing me. You are testing me. I will also test you now. You also take my own as a test. We both test ourselves at the same time. You give me heavy blow for faith. I also give you heavy blow so that you can also see what it means by giving blow to somebody in the face. Not that you will test me, then me, I will just be waiting, holding hand, turning this side for you to beat. You wound me, finish, you go. Then I begin to go and treat myself. You see? So it is not easy, practically, to operate as an Uttama devotee. So it is easy to agree that actually, if somebody says it's a Madhyama devotee, it's okay. Because even the Uttamas, they say they used to come down to the platform of Madhyama for the sake of preaching. Because if you don't see the difference between, see everybody as more advanced than you, then you cannot even preach. Like Utamas, they cannot even preach. So they have to come down to Madhyama level to be able to preach. They see those who are innocent. They preach to them and engage them in devotional service. And to those who are antagonistic, they should be able to avoid them so that they don't commit more offenses. I think it's a more practical platform operating as Utama. So, Salikji, from all the answers you see, we have received from the devotees, it is in place to say that Dhruva Maharaj was a Madhyama Bhakta. I don't know whether there's a difference between advanced Madhyama or neophyte Madhyama. I don't know, Sha. But this is the answer given now. All the devotees are saying that it's a Madhyama. And I think I agree with him, with everybody there, that you can say is Madhyama. I don't know what exactly he was talking about.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much. The students should not speak beyond the teacher, but I just wanted to intentionally bring this out because we've been discussing this and we kept on mentioning devotee. And it is important because this is Bhakti Vaibhav for us to understand the deeper philosophical meaning behind the leelas or stories from the scriptures. It is said that in every scriptures, you hear the voice of the Lord, you hear the voice of his devotee, and you hear the voices of ordinary persons. And to be able to distinguish between these voices or the desire of these individuals, the Lord, the devotee, or the living entities, want us to take shelter of the spiritual master to be able to understand. Dhruva Maharaj is an Uttama Bhakta. According to this same canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam we're reading, it is said that unless one becomes a pure Bhakta, he cannot have the darshan of the Supreme Personality of God. And when the Lord becomes especially favorable to a particular person, only then it manifests himself to him. And it is said that when the Supreme Personality of God had manifested himself, it touched Dhruva's head, which is conchal. And the verse tells us that Dhruva Maharaj, all material conditionings was completely removed. He attained the highest level of pure devotion and service. So, Dhruva Maharaj is a Uttama Bhakta, according to that statement of the scriptures. Then the question is, the activities that we're describing now are activities of a Madhyama Bhakta, because according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Madhya Lila is described that the characteristics of a Kanishta Bhakta is that he has no knowledge of the scriptures, he has no strong faith in Krishna. A Madhyama Bhakta has strong faith, but is prone to making mistakes because he doesn't have a full control of the scriptures to guide him. And even when he knows, he's not realized them, but because he has not realized the words of the scriptures or Krishna in his scriptural incarnation, so sometimes he makes mistakes. But a pure Bhakta, a Uttama Bhakta, he has absolute faith in Krishna and he has full understanding of the scriptures. And because he has that, so he never makes mistakes. So then the activities of Dhruva here, why is he being corrected? So what I wanted to bring out here is that when the Lord wants to play his pastimes with his devotees, pure devotees, he puts them in a situation where the Lord can manifest his teaching. Just like Arjun was put into. Arjun is a pure devotee. But when we look at the activities of Arjun, when he was asking questions, when he was bewildered, when he was giving philosophy in the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, it's purely activities of a Kanishta person who just know the scriptures, who just quote them. But behind the scene, Arjun is a Nara and Lord Krishna is Narayan. So he's a Uttama Bhakta. But for the purpose of teaching, the Lord puts him in that situation. So Dhruva Maharaj was put into this mood to act in that level for the Lord to be able to reveal, because the Lord always wants to teach. So for that purpose, the Lord has put Dhruva Maharaj in that level of consciousness, because Dhruva Maharaj was initially informed by the Lord. So he knows, but for him to be able to act in that capacity, the Lord has to put him in that, under his influence of his Mahamaya, so that he can act for the purpose of teaching. So Dhruva Maharaj is an Uttama Bhakta, but is acting under the influence of the superior energy of the Lord for the purpose of educating us. That is why he's acting in that way. That's the lesson I wanted to bring out, so that we don't start considering that Dhruva Maharaj is a Madhyama or Kanishta Bhakta. He's an Uttama Bhakta, but he is acting at that level because the Lord has put him in illusion, because only one who is covered by the Lord can forget him momentarily. Because as we will see in the later chapters, Dhruva Maharaj came out of that and immediately he realizes his situation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Salik Baba, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Because this is a powerful, this is the ultimate touch for this topic. Yes, it is true. It is true. But sometimes when you are discussing certain things, you cannot grab all the angles. The words become most manifest. That is what you take as, but that is true. On the total analysis, yes. Just as you mentioned, Arjuna was put into that situation so that the Lord can use him to instruct the living entities in general. So also he has put Uttama Dhruva in that situation so that he can use the opportunity to educate us about how a devotee should act. So the Lord has done this actually. And it was truly said that when the Lord appeared and he touched his conscience on Dhruva's head, all the senses were separately enlivened. So all the illusions gone. And he started speaking transcendental knowledge. So thank you very much for drawing our attention to this. And this is a very ultimate spice to this particular topic. Actually, it is the Lord's special arrangement to educate us about. Thereby, he puts Dhruva, he covers him with his internal energy for him to act in that way, for us to learn. So this is the ultimate approach to it. Yes, he must have acted as a Madhyama devotee, but that is under the influence of the Lord's personal internal energy. Actually, it is said that the devotees are controlled by the internal energy of the Lord, not the external energy. So the Lord put him into such situation for him to act like that. Yes, it's true. It's true. So thank you very much for this powerful attention drawer. So let us take it as it is, because it is true, and all the points you made are complementary also, that he was actually acting as a Madhyama, but the higher point is that it is the Lord's arrangement to put him into that situation for us to be instructed. For our sake, he was put in that situation for us to be instructed. So Ambuba Manu is also part of the drama, and he is playing his part very nicely. So thank you very much, Salik. Exactly what test are we in?
'28.
Where are we?
28.
28.
28.
Okay.
Yes.
I think we may have to stop because it's already 9:02. There are 7 more verses because the chapter ends in 35. It has 35 verses. It has 35 verses. So I think we should stop now. We'll continue from 29.
Prabhuji, 28 we haven't read. Only Shloka we read. Yes, you show the tempo or meter how to read.
Okay, then read the slogan purport. Read the purport.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, read.
Translation.
Okay.
My dear Dhruva, at the age of only 5 years, you were very grievous, afflicted by the words of your mother's co-wife. I think, Prabhuji, we read this.
The purport.
Yes, purport. Manu was very
Yes,
proud.
we already read it.
Purport also?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sorry then, Prabhuji.
Okay, read it again. The Lord wants us to read it again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Manu was very proud that Dhruva Maharaj was one of the descendant in his family because at the age of 5 years, Dhruva Maharaj began meditating upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And within 6 months, he was able to see the Supreme Lord face to face. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj is the glory of the Manu dynasty or the human family. The human family begins from Manu. The Sanskrit word for man is Manushya, which means descendant of Manu. Not only the Dhruva Maharaj, the glory of the family of the Swayambhu Manu, but he is the glory of the entire human society. Because Dhruva Maharaj had already surrendered to the Supreme Godhead, he was especially requested not to do anything benefiting,
Unbefitting.
unbefitting a surrendered soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So, in our next class, we continue with verse 29. Thank you very much, all the devotees. Thank you very much, Salik Prabhu, for asking for us to be able to every devotee to respond and to cap it up, mop it up very clear. So very much appreciate the ultimate touch. That all the contributions of the devotees are very highly appreciated because they are all complementary. They are all complementary. Thank you for harmonizing for us. And I hope we have learned a lot from this particular chapter. And we are going to learn the conclusion of it in the next 7 verses in our next class. So thank you very much once again. We are seeing Rasavan Prabhu conspicuously in non-attendance. He's not been attending classes. Last time I told you, some of you, to call those who are here, try to find out from him what is happening. You have to show your love and care to your god brother. What is happening? Is he dropping out? That's cool. So what is the reason? So thank you very much. Show love to Rasavan by trying to find out from him what is going on. Okay. Thank you very much. Chitra Prabhu, are you there? See? And Kamalas Prabhu, you wanted to say something before we conclude?
No, it's next week.
Okay, thank you very much. Co-founder Charity Bhakti Vaibhav Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Glory to all the students ki jai.
Jai.
Chaitanya Prem Prabhu ki. Jai.
Hare
Jai.
Purapurade.
Hari Hari
Hari
Bol. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu. Jagadanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo
Namo Namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Jai.
Ki Jai.